it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. Before we get started with this tutorial, go ahead and click that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber, and turn on your notifications so that you'll be notified every time I release a new video. In today's video, I want to show you this fun product that the Stamps of Life is going to have on HSN, and it includes this large Slimline Card Die Set bundle. So you actually get everything that is included here. And some of these products, they actually had for sale separately on the Stamps of Life website, but for HSN, they're including this entire bundle for one price. It also includes a couple of background dies for the Slimline Card Die Set that are not sold on the Stamps of Life website. So I want to show you those as well. So first of all, this right here, what you see here, as well as the Happy and the Birthday, these are already sold on the Stamps of Life website. And these were released a few months ago, and some of you might already have this particular product. This is the Slimline Card Die Set, which includes the actual die to make a slimline card base, and you would need a larger die cutting machine in order to use this. Now, you can use all of these other products without a larger machine if you wanted just to cut your own card base. So you don't need to have a larger machine to use this, only if you want to use this particular die. But again, you can cut your own card base without actually having to have this die. What's nice about this die is it cuts the card base and puts the score mark in here, so you don't even have to think about any of the measurements, and all you have to do is score it and you have your card base, okay? And then it also has a layering piece for your slimline card. And then it also includes this fun background die, which are some stars, or you can almost make it look like a night scene or a snowy scene, because there are some circles on here as well. And when that is die cut out, you get this fun background. And I've made some cards with this set in the past. And what I'm going to do is I will link all of those videos down below. So if you want to see how I've used this set in the past to make some cards, you can take a look at those. But you can see that it cuts this fun background out with all of these stars showing. So then if you wanted to have another sheet of paper underneath that, here I just have white in the background. You can have the white showing. I did a Halloween card that had some yellow showing in the background. You can do this however you want. So that's what that die looks like. It also has these fun butterflies, and these butterflies, when they're die cut, they look like this. So it includes the top layering piece as well as the shadow. It also has these word dies. So you have the Happy and then the word Birthday. And it includes the top layering piece as well as the shadow layer. And here's an example of what that looks like when it's die cut, so you can see an example of what those words look like. So again, some of you might already have this piece here as well as the Happy Birthday. Moving on, the Stamps of Life also has the add-on words, and these add-on words are for sale on their website, but they're included in this bundle for HSN. So you have the word hello, you have the word thanks, love, and pray. So here's some examples. Here's the word hello, and here's the word thanks. And these are fun because they have that long line at the front and back of these letters. There's the word love, and there's another love. I actually had several of these die cut. Here's the word pray. Okay, and then again, those are included in this bundle as well. And then these two new background dies, these are not for sale on the Stamps of Life website. So if you want these, they are sold within this bundle on HSN. You have this fun lattice background, and you have this fun, it's almost like a starburst background, but these are also included. And when you use these dies, you'll see when we make the card today, you're gonna need this layering piece in order to cut these out. So those are some fun background dies that are included with this bundle. So let's go ahead and get started with this card tutorial. I'm going to start out by using the Sunburst drop-in. So I'm using a piece of the Sunshine cardstock from the Stamps of Life, and I'm going to die cut the background die out of this paper, and I want to make sure that I have this large rectangle around that drop-in die so that it cuts it out of the cardstock. Now, if you wanted to, you could put double-sided adhesive on the back, the tape, double-sided adhesive tape on the back of this cardstock. Before you die cut it, I'm not going to. I'm just going to run it through like this, and then I'm just gonna add glue when I finish. So I'm gonna go ahead and die cut this, and I'll be right back. Now, when that comes out of your die cut machine, you're gonna have all of these little circles. You'll just need to use your tool and just get those out of there. And I have this little brush that I can just quickly get these out, and then you'll have your beautiful background die. So here's the fun background that you get, and I'm gonna set that aside. I'm also going to take this large rectangle die. I die cut a piece of the blueberry cardstock, and then that piece will go right on the back of the background die. And then I also took the large die in the die set, and this will actually make your card base, and I die cut this out of some strawberry cardstock. And when that is die cut, you can see that it actually gives you the card base, and it gives you the score line right down the middle. So all you would have to do is fold at the score line. You can see all the measurements are done for you. You don't even have to think about it. And then you have your card base. So when you layer these on, you can actually have your background die with the layering piece in the back, and then pop that on to a card base just like this. Now, if you didn't want to include this piece, you don't have to. You can just pop that background right onto the card base and eliminate that step. And that just makes for such a fun, easy pattern on a card. So now I'm going to take this background die piece that I cut out, and I'm going to add glue to the back. Now, I purposely did not add double-sided adhesive to the back of my cardstock. I would just rather just include the glue. I think that this die, I know that there's a lot of holes in it, but I can pretty much get away with just adding some glue. It's pretty easy to some of the lines here. I didn't want to. Sometimes when I add the double-sided adhesive that I have, it doesn't cut all the way through, and with all of these holes, I didn't want to spend a lot of time just taking all of that out, trying to get all that out of the die. So I just chose to do it this way. Now you might want to do the double-sided adhesive, that is up to you. And then once you have your adhesive on there, these pieces will line up perfectly because they were cut with that same rectangle die. So you don't need to worry about trimming. Now, if you don't get it lined up on there perfectly, and let's say you have a little bit of overhang, you can use your scissors and just trim some of the blue away that's in the background. But look at that. Perfect. And there is your background piece. And then this piece will go on the card base. But I'm going to wait just a minute to put that on the card base because the way I'm going to decorate it, I want to be sure that I don't need to cut anything off the edge of this card layer before I glue it on my card base. So I'm going to set that aside for just a moment. And I've decided that I'm going to use the Bear Gang to stamp to decorate this. I thought this would be a fun birthday card. And I think I'm going to use the dies, and I'm going to die cut these cute little bears out of some white cardstock. So here is the die cut piece with all the cute little bears. Isn't that adorable? And then I decided to cut the shadow layer out of the black cardstock. That way I don't have to worry about piecing in all of the eyes and the nose because you can see the black coming right through on the back. And technically you can leave it like that, but I think I'm still going to add a little bit of color to especially their ears and just around their head. So I'm just using some of the Storm cards, the Storm ink from the Stamps of Life, and I'm just coming in here just to add a little bit of dimension, which again, technically you don't have to do this, but I think it would add just a nice little touch to this. I'm just gonna come in here. I think what I'm gonna do is just take a piece of scrap paper and stick that in just like that, and then I'll be able to come in and ink up the sides of this little guy. And I'll do the same thing for this one. And we gotta come in and do the same on the opposite side as well. And then for the belly, of course, we have to get in there with the belly, so I don't want to get ink all over it. So I'm just gonna slide this in, this little cut for the belly, and throw some ink on there. I'm gonna come in and get this little ear. All right, and then that will be glued directly onto that shadow. So let's go ahead and add some glue to this. So for the word happy, I have the shadow layer out of the blue cardstock, and then the happy word I'm doing out of the red. I did put double-sided adhesive on the back, just so I don't have to worry about putting glue, and I'm gonna run that through my die cut machine. And when that comes out of the die cut machine, I'm just gonna peel the backing off of my letters, and I'm gonna add them to the shadow layer. So there's my word happy, and this is how the front of the card's gonna look. So I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing this on, and we'll start with the bears. And you can see that there is some overhang here with the white part of the bears, which is perfectly fine. That's exactly was my point when I said I didn't want to add the layering piece directly to the card in case there was any overhang that I needed to cut off. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay this on, making sure that I get the black part all the way down at the bottom. Now, if it happens to extend past the bottom, it's not a big deal because I can cut it off. So just make sure that it is even. And I just love these little bears. I think they're so cute. I'll flip this over, take my scissors, and just trim off what I don't need. And now the bottom is completely flat. Oh, I think that is adorable. And now I have room for my happy over here. Now I don't have room for birthday, but I can include the word birthday inside. Or if I don't want to do any die cutting, I can just stamp a sentiment that says birthday on the inside. So I went ahead and die cut the word birthday, but I did a few different colors, same color scheme. I just wanted to lighten it up on the inside so that you can see it a little bit better. So let's go ahead and finish putting this card together. So I'm just going to add glue to the back of this large card layer, and then we'll add the word birthday on the inside. And this is such an easy card to do. And it didn't take long at all. And this is also a perfect masculine card. I know that several of you are always looking for masculine card ideas, and this is a perfect example of a masculine card idea. So I'm thinking I want to finish up this card by just adding some epoxy dots in the center of these sunbursts. I just think that that will add just another extra touch to this card. And I did add some glue to these just to make sure that they stay sticky. And notice I don't have to do all of them. I just only have to do the 3 that are showing. And we'll do a little smaller one here. Maybe we'll do a bigger one. I like the bigger one better. Isn't that adorable? Oh my gosh, I love this card. And you can change up different colors. So if you want to do pinks and yellows and greens, I mean, it doesn't matter what color you use. You can even ink blend behind this background and have some pretty ink blending showing up behind the starburst. Isn't that a great card? Oh my gosh, I love this. You know what this also reminds me of? It reminds me of superheroes. So if you have any grandkids or children that are into superheroes, you can do a really cool superhero theme with this. I think that would be really cute. I think it's just because of these colors I use, this red, yellow, and blue colors. Those are some superhero colors. So anyway, I think this turned out super cute. So here is my card with this little sunburst background, and let's now move on to the lattice background. For my next card, I am going to be using these 2 colors. I have the Poppy cardstock from the Stamps of Life and the Ocean cardstock from the Stamps of Life. I think these 2 colors look beautiful together, so I knew I wanted to layer these. So I'm going to take my lattice background, and I am going to cut that out of my Ocean cardstock, and I'm going to drop that background die right inside that large rectangle. Just make sure your background die is centered within there. If you have it too far to the right or too far to the left, it's not going to cut evenly, I should say. You'll probably have more cardstock then on one side than you do on the other. So just make sure that it is centered when you are running this through your die cut machine. And then the large card base die is going to be die cut with the poppy cardstock. So when these dies come out of the die cut machine, you have your card base. So here's the card base. It has the score line, so just fold it at the score line. Now, if you wanted to purchase this entire set because you love slimline cards and you want to use these background dies and these word dies, remember, if you don't have a larger machine, this piece is not going to fit in a smaller machine. However, you can still take a regular size piece of cardstock, and to make your card base, you would just take your 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, cut it down to 8.5 by 7, and then put a score mark at 3.5 inches, and that would be your card base. And then you can still use all of these other fun dies. So here's the lattice, and with the lattice, you can see that all of these little pieces, they did have to cut out, which I've already thrown all mine in the garbage. If you wanted to save them and maybe piece some back in, you can do that. Or if you wanted to die cut with a different color and piece them back in, you can do that too. But I'm not doing that. And you can see for my card here, I am just going to layer this right on top of a card base. I'm not going to bring in another color. So in the last card that I did, I die cut the rectangle out of another color. I die cut it out of the blue, layered the background die on the rectangle, and then put it on a card base. So if you wanted to put another color under here, you can, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put it right here on my card base and then create this card. So I did not use double-sided adhesive on the back of this, so yes, I am going to be using glue, which is not a big deal for me. I love this glue. This is the Art Glitter Glue, and it has this fine point tip, which makes it so easy to add glue. So I can just go through here and add glue to these lines and then add this to my card. And if you have too much in any one spot, you can just take your finger and just kind of dab it so that it doesn't make a mess. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, these colors together are so pretty. And this poppy cardstock is pretty thick, so I'm just going to use my tool here and just give that a good press so that stays folded. So I die cut the butterflies. I did the shadow layer out of the white, and I did the layering piece out of the poppy. Now you could use the butterfly just like this and add it to your card, obviously in a different color because that wouldn't show up very well. Or you can put it on a shadow layer. So I am going to add this to a shadow layer. And I want you to notice that it actually cuts out all of these inside pieces. So what I've done is I die cut the butterfly again out of a piece of pattern paper. And I didn't have adhesive on the back of these pieces, so I'm gonna have to just put some liquid glue on the back. And just, you can add these right back in. So depending on what look you're going for, so here is one with using just the shadow and the layering piece. You can leave it just like that, or you can just use the layering piece, or you can add your pieces back in just like this. So here I'll just add another piece just like that, and I'm going to use that on my card. And I did the same thing with the small butterfly. So I'm going to just do another identical one. So I went ahead and did another butterfly. So I have 2 small and 2 large. And I'm going to be using the word pray, which I die cut out of the poppy cardstock. And the shadow layer is just out of the white. I need to get this piece out of there. And now I'm just going to go ahead and glue all of these pieces onto my card front. And I'm just going to add these little yellow, they're almost like epoxy dots, but they are shiny and they are shaped like a flower. I think we'll put them in the middle of where the lines connect. I think that would be really pretty. So here is my final card. I did go ahead and add some hot glue to keep these down. But look how pretty this is. I love these colors together. I think they're so beautiful. So here are both of the cards that I created using this fun bundle from the Stamps of Life, and it is going to be sold on HSN. I will show you some other cards that I made using the Slimline Card Die Set from the Stamps of Life, and I will provide links down in the description box as well. So the links will include the Slimline bundle on HSN, but I will also include some of the Stamps of Life Slimline Card Die Sets. So if you didn't want to buy the whole bundle, you can go look on their website and just, you know, pick and choose what you want to purchase. But I do want to let you know that these particular background dies are only included in the HSN bundle. You cannot get these background dies at this time on the Stamps of Life website, although they do sell some other background dies for Slimline cards, so you can check that out as well. So thanks for watching, and take a look at these upcoming cards.